Ever wonder why some business speaking answers just sound more convincing even when they use the same ideas as everyone else? Well, today we're cracking the code on that. Welcome to BEC Exam Skills Clinic. I'm Jack, your examiner for this session.
And I'm Emma, your candidate for today's practice.
This episode is called Stop Listing, Start Linking, How to Build Business Answers That Sound Logical in BEC Speaking. We're zooming in on one skill, showing clear cause and effect in your responses.
So we're not just practicing vocabulary, we're learning how to actually connect our ideas for a stronger answer.
Exactly. Here's what we'll do. First, we'll talk about why listing isn't enough. Then we'll break down how to link your ideas into a logical chain. You'll try some sample questions and learn 6 practical linking phrases. By the end, you'll know how to give business answers that actually sound like the real thing. Let's jump right in. Emma, in business, why do you think training is considered important?
I'd say training is important because it helps employees develop new skills, which can make them more effective and confident in their roles.
And how do you think companies benefit from motivated employees?
Motivated employees often work harder and show more commitment to the company. This usually leads to better performance and lower turnover rates.
Here's something a lot of candidates do. They give perfectly good ideas, but the answer feels like a list. For example, training is important because staff need skills. It improves motivation. It is good for productivity.
Yeah, I think I sometimes answer like that. I mention skills, motivation, productivity, but I don't really show how they connect.
And that's totally normal, especially under exam pressure. But the examiner has to do the work of connecting those points themselves. Let's imagine the exam question is, why should a company invest in staff training? Give me a quick answer.
I think staff training is important because employees need new skills. It can improve motivation, and productivity is also important for the company.
Not wrong, but see how it's a list? Skills, motivation, productivity. Let me show you an upgrade. Staff training is worth investing in because employees become more confident when they have the right skills. As a result, they're likely to work more efficiently and make fewer mistakes, which can improve productivity across the business.
That sounds much more connected. The ideas flow into each other instead of just sitting side by side.
Exactly. Training gives better skills, which leads to more confidence and efficiency, which finally means improved productivity. That's a clear cause and effect chain.
So it's not about adding more points, it's about linking the points I already have.
That's today's upgrade. Weak candidates list as many points as possible. Stronger candidates choose 2 or 3 and explain how they connect. Let's try another. Suppose the topic is flexible working. A basic answer might be, it's good for employees. It can improve work-life balance. Staff may be happier. The company can keep good workers.
I see what you mean. It's understandable, but you don't really see any links.
Here's the upgrade. Flexible working can improve employees' work-life balance because they have more control over when and where they work. This may increase job satisfaction, and in the long term, the company could find it easier to retain experienced staff.
I like that. Each sentence answers the question, and then what? So it doesn't just stop after one idea.
Spot on. When you make a point, silently ask, what does that lead to? If you say customer service training can reduce complaints, ask yourself, what happens next?
Maybe stronger customer loyalty after fewer complaints?
Exactly. And what does stronger loyalty lead to?
More repeat business, better revenue for the company. Now I see the chain.
Let's lock in some useful language. Here are 6 phrases to help you show cause and effect. This could lead to as a result, which means that in the long term, the main consequence would be, and that would make it easier to.
They seem simple, but using them makes it much easier to connect ideas, especially under pressure.
Absolutely. 1 or 2 is enough, don't force them. The goal is to make your logic crystal clear, not to sound memorized. Now, let's try a quick practice. A company is considering spending more money on customer service training. What benefits could this bring to the business? Just answer naturally first.
I think customer service training would be useful because staff could communicate better with customers. It could reduce complaints and customers would be happier. It could also improve the company's reputation.
Good ideas, but right now it's 4 separate points. Try to link them into one logical chain. Start with better communication and tell me what that leads to.
Okay, better communication could reduce misunderstandings with customers.
Great. And then?
As a result, there might be fewer complaints.
Exactly. What's the business impact of fewer complaints?
Customers may trust the company more, and that could improve its reputation.
Let me give you a full model answer. I think customer service training could be a valuable investment because employees would learn how to communicate more effectively with customers. This could reduce misunderstandings and lead to fewer complaints. As a result, customers may become more satisfied and more willing to use the company again. In the long term, that could strengthen the company's reputation and improve customer loyalty.
That answer works because it's not just a list. Every idea leads naturally to the next, and you finish by linking it back to something the business really cares about, like reputation and loyalty.
Now, can you try a shorter version using the same chain?
Sure. Customer service training helps staff communicate more clearly, which could reduce misunderstandings and complaints. As a result, customers may trust the company more, improving its reputation.
That's excellent, very clear and business-like. You kept the logic but made it concise. Let's move to a wider discussion. Why do you think companies sometimes hesitate to invest in training, even if it could bring long-term benefits?
In my opinion, companies might hesitate because training is an immediate expense that affects their budget. They may worry about not seeing quick results, or they might fear that employees will leave after receiving training, so the investment is lost.
Good comparison, short-term cost versus long-term gain. Now, a more advanced question, how could introducing flexible working affect team dynamics and productivity?
That's a complex issue. On the one hand, flexible working can improve individual productivity because people can work during their most productive hours. On the other hand, it might make team communication more challenging, which could slow down projects if not managed well. The main consequence would depend on how well the company supports remote collaboration and sets clear expectations.
That is more developed, very analytical. Quick one, under time pressure. What's one risk and one benefit of replacing face-to-face meetings with online meetings?
A benefit is saving time and travel costs, which could make employees more efficient. A risk is losing some personal connection, which could make it harder to build trust within the team.
Stronger, clear cause and effect, even under pressure. Let's finish with 2 useful BEC linking phrases. First, as a result.
as a result is used to show a direct consequence. Example, we improved our website speed. As a result, more customers completed their purchases. Repeat, as a result.
Perfect. Second phrase, in the long term.
In the long term introduces a consequence that happens over time. Example, in the long term, investing in staff development could reduce turnover. Repeat, in the long term.
Here are 3 key takeaways. First, strong BEC answers link points in a logical chain, not a list. Second, cause and effect phrases help your answer flow. Third, finish by connecting your point to a clear business impact, like profit or reputation.
And your action step, take one BEC-style question and practice building your answer as a cause and effect chain, not just a series of separate ideas.
That wraps up this episode of BEC Exam Skills Clinic. Thanks for joining us. Keep practicing and remember to focus on logic, not just lists.
Good luck with your next BEC speaking session. See you next time.